I am going to raise some key points which Krishnamurti has raised regarding this question of meditation. So, first of all, he says that meditation is an unpremeditated art. Meditation is an unpremeditated art. So, meditation is something which cannot be thought out in advance, which cannot be planned before or organized. It is not a matter of organization. So meditation is something unknown, like truth. As J. Krishnamurti says that truth is a pathless land. You cannot reach truth through any known path, method or system or organization. And truth can be discovered not through the activity of thought or our conditioned mind, but by a pure observation. And in this question of meditation, Krishnamurti begins by sharing what meditation is not. This is his approach. If you see, most of the questions explored by Krishnamurti begin through negation, by exploring what it is not. So we will also begin looking at what meditation is not before going into the question what meditation is. So first of all, he says that meditation is not a repetition of a mantra, of a word or a symbol, because usually meditation is associated with the repetition of certain words and usually a mantra, but for Krishnamurti, this is not meditation, repetition of anything. And it is not focusing on an image, because in the conventional meditation, it is suggested that we concentrate, focus on a certain image. It can be a deity or any god or any other symbol. But in concentration, we are making effort, and in this effort, thought is excluding everything else and it is trying to focus. So there is a lot of effort. And in meditation, if it is a question of effort of the will and desire, then it becomes an activity of thought. So concentration is not meditation. Concentration, which we need in our daily life for carrying out different jobs, there is a place for concentration. But in exploring what meditation is, concentration has no place. And another thing which Krishnamurti points out, that meditation is not following a certain practice. It is not following a certain vision or an experience. Because in conventional meditation, this is the focus, that you need to experience something. But for Krishnamurti, putting any motive or goal in meditation is a denial of meditation. So it is not a time process that we first decide that this is what we are going to achieve through meditation. So in this sense, he's saying that meditation is unpremeditated art. And another thing which Krishnamurti talks about is meditation is to put house in order. And this house is not only our outward house, but first of all, the inward house, the house of our consciousness, our mind. Because the disorder which we see outside in the world and society is actually a manifestation of our inner disorder. If there is division in society, if there is conflict, if there is aggression, violence, this is an indication that all those things are inside us. That's why they are manifesting outside. So society is only a mirror of ourselves. And because we all together create the society, create this world. So to put the house in order, we have to begin with ourselves with our inner world. Unless there is an order, unless there is an ending of separation, division inside, we cannot put the house in order. And without that order, meditation cannot happen. Or in other words, meditation is putting the house in order. But the question is, how do we put the house in order? And this is a very deep question. Can we put the house in order through another activity of thought? Because most of the disorder in the psychological realm is created by thought. Thought creates a separate identity, saying this, I am Indian, you are Canadian, you are French, and all that. So thought creates an identity based on its own conditioning. And once we have identified ourselves with anything, we separate ourselves. And in this separation, there is conflict. And this conflict leads to suffering. So what we learn that thought cannot put the house in order, because thought is the cause of this separation and division in the psychological world. Thought has its right place, and part of meditation is to discover what is the right place of thought, what is the right place of intellect. As of now, the way we are living, thought has assumed a great importance. It has occupied all our spaces, inside and outside. And it looks like that thought has become another god. And we never question it. An energy which is so useful in technological world becomes quite destructive when it enters into the psychological world, because it starts creating, projecting illusions, projections about oneself, about the life, about the world, about other people. So we have to discover that is there a different energy which is not based on thought, because energy of thought is always based on the past. Thought is a response from our past memories. So thought is always based in the past. And when we are living our life from the past reactions, then we become the stories created by these reactions. So we live as thought, we live as stories, and then we limit ourselves. So is it possible to live life not from the past stories projected by my conditioning and thought, but to really live in this present moment? And for that, we have to really ask, is there a different energy? Is there a different dimension which does not depend on this past? And that dimension is this choiceless awareness. Awareness is not thinking. Thinking process is totally different from awareness. And this quality of awareness is available to all of us. We can be aware of something, but the moment we start judging, condemning, then the activity of thought comes back. That's why Krishnamurti says this awareness is choiceless by its very nature. It's not that I am choosing to be aware of something and I am deciding not to be aware of something else. This selection is nature of thought. Choice is nature of thought. But awareness by its very nature is choiceless. So through this choiceless awareness, there is a possibility of putting the house in order. When we are watching from a silent mind, then we are looking at the cause of disorder. We are looking at what is the nature of thought, how thought creates separation, how thought projects separate identity. So through this pure observation, we can learn a lot about oneself. And this pure observation is part of this choiceless awareness. And in this observation, the me, which is a creation of thought, is not active. When the mind is absolutely silent, then it is able to watch things as they are. And it is able to listen to things as they are without any projection. So part of this meditation is this art of observation, the art of listening, which Krishnamurti calls also the attention. So we can say that meditation is part of attention. And without this energy of attention, there cannot be real freedom in our life. Otherwise we are living as prisoners of our own stories, prisoners of our own self, egos. So meditation is actually freedom from this unnecessary activity of thought, the psychological activities of thought, which creates the me. So in a deep sense, we can say that meditation is freedom from the known, freedom from everything which thought creates in the psychological world, freedom from the activities of the me, of the ego. Because when we are living from the ground of this ego, life is very limited. I am just trying to secure my boundaries. I am trying to protect myself through the activity of thought. But there is always a need to protect more and more. There is never a true security when thought is trying to protect itself. Thought by its very nature is dependent on past. It's a memory. So how can a memory create a real security? It can create an illusion of security, but not the true security. And when in deep meditation, when there is no division, no separation, in that unity, in that non-duality, there is a real security. Then thought is not projecting all its fictitious world, all the illusions. At another place, Krishnamurti says, meditation is the emptying of the consciousness of all its contents. The consciousness which is made up of contents, when they are emptied, that is meditation. And this is something quite tremendous. Let us try to understand it. What is our consciousness? What is our daily consciousness? How do we experience it? How do we experience it now? What are the contents of this consciousness? Usually, the dominant contents of this consciousness are, first of all, this old past memories. From past memories, there is a thinking process. From this thinking process arises all this division and separation. And when there is a division and separation, there is a conflict, which leads to suffering, which leads to fear. There is a search for pleasure, avoidance of pain, jealousy. All those things are part of this consciousness. And this is the known consciousness, the way we live usually. So when all these contents are dominating our whole psyche, our life, then there is no real peace, real harmony in our life. There is no love, there is no compassion. So is it possible to be free from these contents? And what does it mean to be free from these contents? Can we do something to remove them? Because the moment we try to remove them, we create more conflict. And this is the conventional way, that you see something in yourself which is limiting, which you consider is something not good, negative, then you make effort to remove it. But the moment you make effort to remove it, you create more conflict. In a deep sense, you make those contents even stronger. If I am feeling that there is a sense of fear inside me, and if I try to remove that fear, in that process, I will make that fear even stronger. So effort is not the way of freedom. The deep understanding of the content is the way of freedom. When we see these contents, when I become aware of this fear or any other strong emotion you can take, when there is an awareness, then you are not condemning it, you are not judging it, you are not saying this is good or bad, you are simply watching it. In that watching, there is no naming. We are not even calling that this is fear, this is jealousy, or this is anger. There is an energy at the level of sensation. So you watch it from a silent state of mind. And in that watching, that content goes through its own transformation. That energy which is trapped through this thinking process is released in that pure observation. And meditation is pure observation, in which all that energy which is trapped in conflict, in patterns, that gets released. So freedom is to see things as they are, and meditation is freedom. When I watch my life, how I am living, if I see that I am living mechanically, following certain pattern, I start watching it, I start learning about it. And in this learning, there is no condemnation. You're not all the time condemning yourself, being harsh to yourself. But you see yourself as you are without any sense of judgment. And this seeing is an action of love. If there is no love in seeing, then it is an activity of thought. And thought is based on judging, condemning, justifying, all that. So, meditation is not an isolated activity. It is part of our daily life. Meditation is not just we sit in a corner for few hours, few minutes, and that is over. But it has to be connected with our relationships, with our daily life, the way we live. Otherwise, meditation becomes an escape. We meditate for 10 minutes, and then rest of the day, we are living in disorder. So a deeper question is it possible that our whole life, the way we live our daily life, becomes a meditative process, a meditative journey? Then I'm watching everything. I'm learning about everything. My mind is open, is not closed. I'm listening deeply from the heart, not just from the intellect. I'm watching from the heart. I'm being aware from the heart, without any judgment, without any sense of even any expectation. When I'm watching another human being, then my mind is completely silent. I'm not expecting the other human being to be something else. Then this observation is a deep freedom. My mind is not projecting images, prejudices on the other. It's not functioning from the old pattern. That's why meditation is letting go of all these identifications, all these patterns. And another very beautiful statement of Krishnamurti is, as long as there is a meditator, there is no meditation. So in meditation, the meditator disappears, dies. What is that meditator? The me. When I say, oh, I am meditating, and many people, you must have seen that they take pride in that. Oh, I am able to meditate for 1 hour, 2 hours. I am better than the other meditator. Then meditation becomes a competition. And that is something quite ridiculous. In meditation, there cannot be any competition. There cannot be any comparison. That means my ego is very active and it is trying to prove something. So that is not meditation. That's why Krishnamurti says, as long as there is any ego, any observer or meditator in meditation, then it is not meditation. So meditation is freedom from the meditator. It is the same as when Krishnamurti says, observation is a freedom from the observer. In pure observation, there is no observer, there is no me. Because the moment me comes, it creates its false world with all its projections, images, and it is a creation of thought. So in true meditation, there is no meditator. But the question is, how can that meditator disappear or die? Can I do something about it? Again, if I try to do something by force, by will, I create more conflict, more division. I make the meditator even stronger. And so, what is the other way? Is there a different approach? The only approach which can help in this freedom from the meditator is to be intensely aware of this whole origin of meditator, the mechanism of this self, and what it does. So being aware of the total process of the meditator is the only possibility of freedom. When we understand ourselves deeply, in that understanding, there is a dissolution of the self. That's why Krishnamurti also says that understanding the meditator is meditation. Understanding yourself is meditation. When you understand yourself, you become free from yourself. This is true with anything. When you understand deeply anything, there is a freedom, isn't it? Then that thing is no longer an issue, is not bothering you. So this deep understanding is the key to freedom. If we see what our ego is doing in our relationship, how it is creating all these divisions, conflicts, sorrow. If I see how it creates disorder, and watching this whole phenomena, the whole mechanism, will bring peace naturally. So the peace is a byproduct of deep understanding. Freedom is a byproduct of deep understanding. And this deep understanding happens through this choiceless awareness, through pure observation, through pure listening. It's not an activity of thought. It's not an activity of will or desire. That's why this dimension or energy of awareness, of observation, does not belong to this conditioned energy. It is free from the conditioning. Otherwise, everything, the whole world of thought is part of our conditioning. So freedom from meditator is part of meditation, and it comes through this choiceless awareness, through pure attention. And one most important thing that Krishnamurti says, that without love and compassion, there is no meditation. And I feel this is the most important aspect. If in my meditation, I am becoming heartless. I am becoming even aggressive because it has become a matter of achievement, achieving some vision, some experience. And we see this happening a lot in the spiritual world. When meditation is used in order to reach somewhere, in order to prove something, then ego is very much active. And in that process, the love, pure love is lost, pure compassion is lost, deep affection is lost. That's why, in order to discover what meditation is, one has to really ask what love is, what compassion is. And as long as the self-centered activity is dominating my life, there cannot be love, there cannot be compassion. So, can I watch the way I am living, whether this is self-centered, and to watch it? Again, this watching requires no judgment, so simply watching it, the whole implications of it. Then I can see this self-centeredness is the root cause of all my suffering. This me is the cause of all my suffering. And this self-centeredness, this me is created by thought. So can I become aware of this whole process? When I am not aware, then thought and its creation, which is me and ego, they are dominating my life. So whenever I am inattentive, whenever I am unaware, can I pay attention to that? So attention to inattention is awareness. I don't have to fight my inattention, my unawareness. Then again, I become, part of this pattern. The way when thought is saying, "Oh, I am not aware. I should be aware." But the simple way is to be aware of unawareness. When I am not watching, when my mind is busy in judging, comparing, simply being aware of it. When I am not listening, being aware of this fact that I am not listening. So the choiceless awareness of the fact and staying with the fact is part of meditation. Not fighting with the fact, trying to change the fact. Then I'm back, I'm trapped again into that process of becoming. So staying with a deep question is also meditation. What is this I? Who am I? What am I? Am I a bundle of images? Am I a bundle of identifications, associations? Am I a collection of my stories created by thought? Who am I? When I inquire into it deeply, that inquiry becomes meditation. When I'm staying with the question without answering from my old mind, then that question itself becomes an answer. It's not that mind is giving the answer. So when I unconditionally stay with the question, that question becomes deep and dissolves ultimately. The real answer is when the question dissolves in the silence of the mind and the heart. So this deep silence, deep stillness is part of meditation. And this cannot be achieved by any effort. It comes naturally, effortlessly. When I'm watching, when I'm listening, when I'm attentive to what is, without any motive, without any expectation. Then living is meditative process. Then living is not separate from meditation. Then if I'm driving my car or I'm walking, I'm working, cooking, talking to a friend, everything then becomes part of meditation. The whole life is meditation then. And mind is constantly learning, unlearning. Because whatever we have learned, we have to also empty that. We should not live with conclusions. Living with conclusions is something living with dead things. Then I stop myself. That's why this learning is always fresh, new. And meditation is always new. Meditation happens in this living moment, not in the past or in the future. Meditation is actually freedom from psychological time. The psychological time which is created by thought. Thought says that I am this, something is lacking in me, I am incomplete, I am not good. All these commentaries and judgment. And then I want to be something else. And then thought gives various prescriptions, methods, systems. If you follow this, then you will become something else. This is the psychological time. The movement from what is to what should be or what should not be. And this is the fundamental conflict in our life. And this psychological time is the me, is the ego. And this becomes the source of all our suffering. And when there is a pure seeing of the psychological time that it is illusion, then it drops. Because actually it is an illusion. It is only happening in the memories. Memories are projecting the psychological time. And because I am not questioning it, I am not seeing it, it becomes part of my reality. But it is a false reality. It is not the truth. So then meditation becomes this constant self-inquiry, asking right questions, living with right questions, staying with them, with the complete silence of the mind, stillness of the mind.